Hey there, English learners, welcome back. If you have ever felt totally lost while listening to a native English speaker, today's lesson was made just for you. Stick around because by the end, you will know exactly why this happens and what to do about it. And if you find this helpful, tapping that subscribe button really helps this channel keep making free lessons for you every week. Hello again, my wonderful English learners. I am so glad you decided to spend this time with me today. Maybe you are out for a walk right now. Maybe you are behind the wheel driving somewhere. Maybe you are in the kitchen cooking something delicious. Or maybe you are just lying back and relaxing. Whatever you are doing right now, thank you for choosing to be here with me. It really does mean a lot, and I am genuinely excited to walk beside you on this English learning journey. Today, we are going to dig into something almost every English learner deals with at some point. It is the struggle of understanding native English speakers when they talk. I know this can feel really tough, and honestly, pretty frustrating too. Native speakers tend to talk fast. They do not slow down or speak clearly just because you are learning. They throw in slang, use idioms, and speak in a way that sounds nothing like what you studied in your textbook. Have you ever wondered, why can I not understand what native speakers are saying? Or maybe you have thought, why is following their conversation so hard? If those thoughts have crossed your mind, you are definitely not the only one. So many learners across the world feel exactly the same way. This is completely normal, and there is nothing wrong with feeling this way. Learning a new language is never simple, and every single learner hits bumps along the road. But here is some good news for you. Your listening skills can absolutely improve. You can train yourself to understand native speakers better, and you certainly do not have to figure this out alone. I am right here to guide you through it, one step at a time. In today's episode, we are going to break this whole topic down into easy pieces. I will explain everything slowly and clearly, and I will hand you some really useful tips along the way. Before we go further, I just want to say, if English learning content like this helps you even a little, please consider subscribing to the channel. It genuinely supports the work we do here and helps more learners like you find these lessons. These tips are going to help you understand spoken English much more easily. They will build your confidence when you listen, and they will make the whole listening experience feel a lot less stressful and a lot more enjoyable. So let us dive right in. First, let us understand why listening to native speakers feels so difficult in the first place. Why do so many learners end up feeling confused or completely lost the moment real English starts flowing? One major reason is simply speed. Native speakers talk quickly. They are not slowing down for learners, they are just speaking the way they normally speak every single day. On top of that, they blend words together instead of pronouncing each one separately. For instance, instead of saying, "What are you doing?" clearly, it often comes out sounding like, "What you doing?" That sounds completely different and can throw learners off. Native speakers also drop certain sounds entirely. They say "I'm gonna" instead of "I am going to." They say "dunno" instead of "I do not know." Contractions and shortcuts are everywhere in their speech. This naturally confuses learners, especially those who picked up English mainly through books. But please do not worry. This is completely normal. With consistent practice and the right approach, you can absolutely learn to recognize these patterns. That is exactly what we are going to work on together today. Let us look at a simple example to make this clearer. Picture someone saying, "I am going to go to the store. Do you want to come?" In everyday casual speech, this might actually sound more like, "I'm going to go to the store. Want to come?" Wow, that is quite a jump from the textbook version, right? It can feel like the words all melt into one another. This might feel confusing the first few times you hear it, but do not stress. With time, your ears will slowly adjust to this natural rhythm. Now let us talk about something really important. A lot of learners think to themselves, "But I already know grammar, I already know plenty of vocabulary." And yes, that is fantastic. Grammar and vocabulary really matter, but on their own, they are simply not enough for listening comprehension. Spoken English is a completely different animal from written English. Native speakers do not talk the way textbooks teach. They speak real, everyday English, and real everyday English is fast, casual, and full of shortcuts. In real conversations, nobody is thinking about grammar rules in their head. People just want to communicate quickly and naturally. Because of that, words shift, sounds vanish, and sentences shrink down. To follow this kind of speech, you need real listening practice, and you need exposure to how people genuinely talk day to day, not just how English appears written on a page. I want you to hold on to something important here. You are not bad at English. You are not slow. You are not failing at this. You simply have not had enough exposure to real spoken English yet, and that is completely okay. This is an incredibly common struggle. Learners everywhere deal with the exact same thing. The encouraging part is that improvement is absolutely possible with the right kind of training, and I am here to help you get there. By the way, if you are enjoying this so far, now would be a great moment to hit that subscribe button so you never miss the next lesson in this series. In the second half of this episode, I am going to share some simple, practical tips with you. These tips will slowly train your ears bit by bit. They will help you feel far more comfortable when native speakers are talking, and over time, English will start sounding clearer and much less overwhelming. Ready? Let us keep this journey moving forward together. Let us dig a little deeper into why understanding native speakers can be such a challenge. One reason is that native speakers rarely pronounce words the exact way you learned them in class. For example, going to often turns into gonna. Want to often becomes wanna. Got to frequently shrinks down to gotta. If you have never encountered these casual forms before, they can sound strange and even a little confusing at first. Another huge factor is accents and dialects. English is spoken all across the globe, and every country, sometimes even every city, has its own unique accent. There is American English, British English, Australian English, and plenty more besides. Each one carries its own pronunciation and rhythm, and sometimes even different vocabulary. This can make listening feel harder, particularly if you are used to hearing just one type of English. But keep this in mind. The more you expose yourself to different accents, the better you will get at understanding them. Your ears will gradually learn to pick up on these differences, and English overall will start to feel much more natural. The first time you hear an unfamiliar accent, you might even wonder, wait, is this really English? It can sound totally unfamiliar at first, but rest assured, it is still English. It just carries a different sound than what you are used to. Accents change pronunciation, but the language underneath stays the same. With enough time and listening practice, your ears will adjust naturally, and that accent will slowly become much easier to follow. Let us move on to another reason listening can feel tough, which is slang and casual language. Native speakers use slang constantly when chatting with friends, family, or coworkers. Slang is relaxed, casual language, and it shows up everywhere in daily conversation. For instance, when someone says "what's up," they are not actually asking about the sky or the weather. They are simply greeting you or asking how you are doing. Expressions like this pop up constantly in real life, but they rarely show up in textbooks or classroom lessons. That mismatch is exactly why so many learners feel puzzled. You study proper, correct English in your books, but native speakers use casual, real-world English out in the wild. This gap can make conversations tricky to follow at first, but rest assured, the more you listen, the more familiar these phrases will become. The third reason is something called connected speech. This happens when words blend into one another within a sentence. Native speakers do not pause between every single word. They speak in one continuous flow. Instead of pronouncing each word slowly and separately, the words merge together. For example, I am going to go might come out sounding like I'm gonna go, or even shorter than that. When words connect this way, English can sound incredibly fast and jumbled. This is honestly one of the biggest reasons learners feel completely lost while listening. But remember, this is totally normal. Everyone struggles with this at first. Your ears simply need time to pick up on these patterns. With regular listening practice, your brain gradually starts recognizing these sound patterns, and comprehension becomes much easier over time. It is also worth remembering that native speakers do not speak in some perfectly polished way. They talk fast, they make mistakes, they repeat themselves, they change direction mid-sentence. They lean on slang and shortened forms constantly. This is all completely natural. Spoken English is not meant to be flawless, and it does not need to be. The real goal here is not perfection. It is understanding authentic English exactly as it gets used in everyday life. Quick reminder before we move forward, if this lesson is giving you useful insight, please take a second to subscribe. It really helps this channel keep growing and reach more learners just like you. Now, let me walk you through some genuinely helpful tips that make understanding native speakers a whole lot easier. Tip number 1, listen to real conversations. If your goal is understanding native speakers, you have got to expose yourself to authentic, real-world English. This does not just mean slow, clear practice recordings, it also means natural, unscripted conversations. You can turn to English podcasts, YouTube videos, TV shows, or movies. Pick topics you genuinely enjoy, whether that is sports, cooking, travel, news, fashion, or any hobby close to your heart. When the topic interests you, listening naturally becomes easier and far more enjoyable. Here is a really valuable piece of advice. Do not try to catch every single word. That approach will just stress you out. Instead, zero in on the overall main idea. Ask yourself, what is this conversation about? What is the general topic? If you miss a word here and there, that is perfectly fine. Just keep listening. You can always pause, rewind, and replay it as many times as you need. With patience and steady practice, your listening ability will grow, and native English will gradually start feeling more natural and clear to you. The more you expose yourself to English, the more you will understand, plain and simple. This point is worth repeating. Listening is basically training for your brain. Over time, your brain starts picking up on the rhythm of English. You begin noticing how sentences flow, how words connect, and how people actually talk in real life. Bit by bit, English becomes more familiar, and listening starts feeling far less stressful. Tip number 2, pay close attention to accents. English sounds noticeably different depending on where you are. Someone from London does not sound like someone from New York. Someone from Australia does not sound like someone from Canada. These regional variations are called accents. At first, accents can feel confusing, maybe even intimidating. You might think, I cannot understand anything at all. But that reaction is completely normal. If you know you will be talking with people from a specific country, say the United States or the United Kingdom, try exposing yourself to that particular accent more often. It genuinely helps a lot. You can do this through movies, TV shows, or YouTube content from that region. Podcasts and interviews featuring native speakers from that place work great too. The more exposure you get to a certain accent, the easier it becomes to understand. It might feel tough at first, but slowly your ears adjust, and consistent practice makes a real difference. Tip number 3, focus on the key words. When native speakers talk quickly, you will not catch every single word, and honestly, that is perfectly fine. You do not need to understand 100% of what is said to grasp the overall message. Here is a smart trick worth using. Listen carefully for the most important words within a sentence. In fast, casual speech, native speakers frequently drop smaller words like is, are, the, or to. For example, instead of saying she is going to her home, someone might just say she going home. The sentence gets shorter, but the meaning is still perfectly clear. So do not stress over missing small connector words. Instead, focus on the bigger, more meaningful ones. These are usually nouns and verbs. Nouns name people, places, or things. Verbs describe actions. These words carry the real weight of meaning in a sentence. Even understanding around 60% of the words is often more than enough to follow along with what someone is saying. You genuinely do not need full 100% comprehension to keep up with a conversation. If you are enjoying these tips so far, hitting subscribe now means you will not miss any future lessons like this one. Tip number 4 builds on that same idea, but it deserves repeating because it is that important. Do not force yourself to catch every single word while listening to English. Doing so just leaves you tired, anxious, and frustrated. Instead, relax your mind and listen specifically for the meaningful words. For example, picture someone saying, "I am going to the store to buy some groceries." You really do not need to understand every word in that sentence. If you catch store, buy, and groceries, you already know the core idea: the person is heading out shopping, and that is genuinely enough. You can build this skill by listening to short conversations or short video clips. After listening, quiz yourself with simple questions. What were the most important words here? What was the main idea? What exactly were they discussing? This kind of practice trains your brain to listen more intelligently. Even if full comprehension eludes you, you are still absorbing and learning. Every listening session is quietly improving your brain. Be gentle and patient with yourself. Listening skills develop gradually, but consistent practice will show real results. Native English will gradually start sounding clearer, more natural, and easier to follow. Sometimes a speaker talks so fast it becomes genuinely hard to keep up, and this is exactly where subtitles come in handy. While watching TV shows, movies, or YouTube content, try turning subtitles on. They help in two important ways. First, you hear the actual words spoken. Second, you also see those words appear on screen. This connects the sound of English directly to its written meaning inside your brain. If you are still a beginner, starting with subtitles in your own native language is totally fine. This helps you follow the storyline while staying relaxed. Once you feel a bit more confident, switch over to English subtitles. These help you pick up new vocabulary, notice how sentences are structured, and understand how words truly sound in real conversation. You get to observe how native speakers genuinely talk, not just how English looks printed on a page. Eventually, when you feel ready, try watching without any subtitles at all. This is fantastic practice for your listening muscles. Do not worry if that feels challenging initially. That reaction is completely normal. Also keep in mind, subtitles are not always 100% accurate. Sometimes they do not perfectly match the spoken dialogue, especially when slang or casual expressions are involved. That is fine. Treat subtitles as a helpful support tool, not something you rely on forever. As your listening skills grow stronger, you will naturally need them less and less. Tip number 5, break speech down into smaller chunks. Sometimes native speakers deliver long, flowing sentences, and it can feel like way too much information all at once. But here is a helpful little secret. Even native speakers naturally pause while talking. You can use those natural pauses to help you follow along better. For example, listen to this sentence. I went to the store, then I saw my friend, and we got some coffee. This might sound like a long sentence, but really it breaks into 3 small chunks. First, I went to the store. Second, I saw my friend. Third, we got some coffee. Each small piece is its own chunk. While practicing, try pausing after each individual chunk. Focus on fully understanding that small section before moving forward to the next one. You genuinely do not need to grasp everything all at once. This method makes rapid English feel much slower and far easier to process. It keeps your brain calm and focused rather than overwhelmed. Tip number 6 is called shadowing, and it is an incredibly powerful technique that boosts both listening and speaking together. Shadowing means listening to a sentence and then immediately repeating it right after, almost like a shadow trailing right behind a person. While shadowing, try to mimic the speaker's pace, rhythm, and pronunciation as closely as you can. Do not stress over getting it perfect, just give it your honest best effort. This practice trains your ears to recognize authentic English sounds. It also trains your mouth to move naturally the way English actually requires. Here is how you can practice it yourself. First, find a short video or audio clip featuring natural English speech, nothing too lengthy. Listen carefully to a single sentence. Then pause and repeat that sentence out loud, trying to match the speaker's tone. Pay close attention to how they connect words together and how their voice rises and falls throughout. Shadowing simultaneously strengthens your listening, speaking, pronunciation, and overall confidence. It might feel awkward at first, but it becomes noticeably easier with regular practice. Bit by bit, English starts feeling more natural, both to your ears and to your own mouth. Stay patient and keep practicing. Progress happens gradually, one step at a time. Quick check in here if this lesson has been useful for you so far. Tapping subscribe now genuinely supports this channel and helps us keep creating lessons just like this one. Do not be discouraged if shadowing feels tricky at the beginning. That is completely normal. Everyone struggles with it initially. What matters most is sticking with the practice. Shadowing gets easier over time, and it remains one of the very best ways to absorb genuine spoken English. The more you practice it, the more naturally English will flow for you, and the more confident you will feel using it. Tip number 7, expose yourself to different accents. We touched on accents earlier, and this point deserves real emphasis. English gets spoken across countless countries, and each region carries its own distinct accent. There is American English, British English, Australian English, and so many more beyond that. At first, an unfamiliar accent might sound completely strange and hard to decode. You might feel confused or even a little frustrated, but please do not avoid it. The best path forward is exposing yourself to a wide variety of accents. The more you hear them, the more manageable they become. Watch TV shows or films from different countries, listen to podcasts featuring speakers from various regions around the world, follow YouTubers who speak English but hail from different countries. This trains your ears to handle multiple styles of spoken English. English gets used across Europe, the Americas, Africa, Asia, and Australia. Even when the vocabulary stays identical, pronunciation can shift dramatically. Rhythm and pace can change too. That is precisely why sticking to just one accent is not enough on its own. To practice this, try something simple. Watch a British film one day. The next day, catch an American TV show. Another day, listen to an Australian video or podcast. Pay close attention and notice the differences between them. Do not waste energy judging which accent sounds better. Every single accent is equally valid and correct. With ongoing practice, your brain becomes flexible, and you will find yourself understanding English from all kinds of speakers. This ultimately builds your confidence when talking with people from anywhere across the globe. Tip number 8, slow the playback speed down. Sometimes native speakers talk so rapidly it feels genuinely overwhelming, but there is a simple fix for that. You can literally slow the audio down. Most platforms, including YouTube, podcast apps, and audiobook apps, let you adjust playback speed. If a speaker feels too fast, try dropping the speed to 0.75 times normal. This slows the speech down and clarifies it considerably. You will hear each individual word far more clearly. You will also notice the sentence rhythm and the speaker's tone much better this way. This trains your brain to understand how English genuinely sounds when spoken naturally. Once you feel more comfortable, gradually raise the speed back up. Move from 0.75 up to normal playback speed. Later on, you could even try faster than normal if you want a bit of a challenge. This method helps you build confidence incrementally. There is no need to rush, move forward at whatever pace suits you. Remember, learning to understand native English speakers is genuinely a gradual process. There is no instant shortcut here, but with consistent practice, patience, and the right strategies, real improvement will come. Every single listening session is quietly training your brain. Every small step matters, so keep pushing forward. Stay positive and trust the overall process. English will steadily become clearer, easier, and more enjoyable as time goes on. As your comfort grows, you can gradually push the playback speed back up again. This is a genuinely smart way to build your skills. By adjusting the speed incrementally, you train your ears in careful, manageable stages. Your brain learns exactly how fast natural English sounds, and rapid speech eventually stops feeling scary or overwhelming. Take your time here. There really is no need to rush through this process. Tip number 9, and this one matters a lot, never be afraid to ask questions. If you are chatting with someone and you miss what they said, it is completely fine to speak up. You can simply say, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Or, I did not quite catch that. Could you explain it differently? Most people are genuinely happy to help. Many native speakers already understand that English is not your first language, and they will respect your effort to learn. Asking questions is not some kind of weakness, it is actually a real strength. It shows you genuinely care about understanding and continuing to improve. Never feel embarrassed or shy about it. Every learner asks questions, and that is exactly how growth happens. If you have found value in this lesson so far, please take a moment to subscribe. It truly helps this channel reach more learners who need these tips. Tip number 10, lean on context clues. Sometimes while listening, you will hear a word you simply do not recognize, and that is completely normal. There is no need to stop listening or feel anxious about it. Instead, try figuring out the meaning based on the surrounding situation or topic. This is called using context clues. For example, imagine you are discussing food and someone says, "I am going to grab a bite." Maybe you do not know the phrase grab a bite, but since the topic is food, you can reasonably guess they mean getting something to eat. Another example, someone says, "The car broke down, so we called for a tow." Even without knowing the word tow, you can guess it involves getting help for the vehicle. Your brain is genuinely capable of this kind of reasoning. The more you practice listening, the sharper you become at guessing meaning from context. This is a genuinely valuable skill in real conversations. Tip number 11, be patient with yourself throughout this process. Learning English takes real time. Struggling to understand native speakers at first is completely normal. Every learner progresses at their own individual pace. Some days you will understand a lot, other days you might feel confused or frustrated, and that is simply part of the learning journey. You will not catch every single word, you will make mistakes, and that is genuinely okay. Mistakes are how learning happens. Do not be harsh on yourself, keep listening, keep practicing, and do not give up. Every single time you listen to English, your brain is quietly absorbing something new, even if you do not notice it in the moment. Please remember this clearly. You do not need to be flawless. Fluency does not arrive overnight. It develops slowly, one step at a time. Be kind toward yourself throughout this process. Celebrate small wins. Even understanding slightly more than you did yesterday counts as genuine success. If full comprehension does not click right away, that is completely normal too. Do not feel discouraged. Keep moving forward. Every minute spent listening to English is quietly building your skills. Trust this process fully. With patience, consistent practice, and enough time, understanding native English speakers will steadily become easier, more natural, and far more enjoyable. As you keep practicing, your brain is gradually absorbing the sounds, words, and rhythm of English. Listening regularly trains your ears and strengthens your ability to follow real conversations. It might feel difficult or exhausting at first, and that reaction is completely normal. If frustration or fatigue sets in, step away for a short break, relax for a few minutes, then return to your listening practice. Learning English is not about chasing perfection. It is about improving gradually, day by day. Every small step genuinely counts. Even tiny victories matter. For instance, if today you understand a word or sentence that stumped you before, that counts as real success. These small wins accumulate steadily over time. Gradually, you will feel more confident, and you will start genuinely enjoying English listening practice. It will begin to feel natural. Every practice session trains your brain to recognize English faster and more accurately. Patience truly is the key here. Everyone learns at their own individual pace, and that is completely fine. Tip number 12, try listening comprehension exercises. These exercises offer a structured way to build your listening skills. Typically, they include a short audio clip, followed by a set of questions about what you just heard. You listen first, then answer the related questions. This trains you to focus on the core idea along with important supporting details. You can find exercises like these across many resources, including English learning apps, websites, online courses, and even printed textbooks. Some exercises feature naturally flowing conversations, while others use news segments, interviews, or brief lectures. When starting out, choose easier exercises first. Listen attentively, then answer the follow-up questions. Once you feel comfortable, move on to more challenging material. The more consistently you practice, the stronger your listening becomes. These exercises also expose you to varied speaking styles, which proves incredibly useful in real-life scenarios, whether chatting with native speakers, watching films, or listening to podcasts. Tip number 13, work on expanding your vocabulary. The more words you know, the easier English becomes to follow. If your vocabulary stays limited to simple words, fast-paced conversations will feel challenging to track, so make it a habit to learn new words every single day. A straightforward approach is jotting down unfamiliar words you encounter in videos, podcasts, or conversations. Look up their meanings and practice using them yourself. Prioritize words that show up often in daily life, like buy groceries, make plans, take a break, or go out. Also pay attention to word pairings known as collocations. These are word combinations that naturally belong together, like make a decision, make a mistake, or make an effort. Learning vocabulary this way helps you grasp English more naturally and speak in a way that sounds closer to a native speaker. Tip number 14, learn common idioms. Native speakers frequently rely on idioms, phrases whose meaning differs from their literal wording. For instance, "It is raining cats and dogs" does not literally mean animals are falling from the sky, it simply means it is raining extremely hard. Idioms show up constantly in everyday conversation, and understanding them will make real English feel much more comfortable. They also add color and personality to conversations, making them genuinely fun to learn. Through consistent practice with listening, vocabulary building, and idiom recognition, you are steadily preparing yourself to follow English with far greater ease. Step by step, your brain sharpens its ability to recognize words, sentences, and the natural rhythm of English. Little by little, real progress becomes noticeable. Listening might feel tough initially, but staying patient and persistent while practicing daily will strengthen your English steadily, making native speakers noticeably easier to understand. Do not forget, subscribing to this channel means you will catch every new lesson the moment it drops, so if you have not already, now is a great time. Idioms can feel confusing at first because their true meaning often does not match the literal words involved. For example, when someone says it's raining cats and dogs, they simply mean it is raining very heavily, nothing about actual animals falling from the sky. Since idioms appear constantly in natural English, learning them genuinely helps you understand native speakers better. To improve here, start paying close attention while watching shows, movies, or listening to podcasts. Whenever you spot an idiom, write it down. Look up what it means and then try weaving it into your own sentences. Begin with common, simple idioms you will hear frequently. For example, break the ice means starting a conversation, hit the books means studying hard, and under the weather means feeling sick. The more you practice with idioms, the more of them you will recognize, and over time you will feel far more confident whenever people use them in real conversations. Tip number 15, practice active listening. Active listening goes beyond simply hearing sounds. It means fully concentrating on everything the speaker communicates. You focus on their words, their tone of voice, their body language, and the overall situation, all of which sharpens your understanding of their meaning. One helpful technique is paraphrasing, which means restating what the speaker said using your own words. If you can express the same idea differently, that proves you genuinely understood the message. Another important piece of active listening is avoiding interruptions. Let the speaker finish their thought before responding. This helps you catch every detail and grasp the complete message. Active listening takes practice to master, but it dramatically improves how well you follow real conversations. Tip number 16, join conversation groups. Talking with other people ranks among the best ways to strengthen both your listening and speaking abilities. You can join online communities through apps or websites, or attend local English clubs and meetup events. Within these groups, you get to practice speaking alongside fellow learners or even native speakers. You will also encounter different accents while learning inside a relaxed, friendly setting. When you take part in a conversation group, remember to focus not only on speaking, but also on really listening carefully. Try understanding what others say before formulating your own response. This habit helps you follow genuine conversations far more smoothly and builds your confidence speaking English out loud. Tip number 17, pay attention to stress and intonation within English. Stress refers to emphasizing particular words, while intonation describes how your voice rises and falls. Both elements matter tremendously because they can completely change a sentence's meaning. For example, take the sentence, "I did not say you stole my book." Depending on which word gets emphasized, the meaning shifts dramatically. Emphasizing "I did not say you stole my book" suggests someone else said it. Emphasizing "I did not say you stole my book" implies you may have hinted at it, without directly stating it, emphasizing. "I did not say you stole my book" suggests maybe you took someone else's book instead. Emphasizing "I did not say you stole my book" suggests maybe you stole something else entirely. This really demonstrates how crucial stress and intonation are. Practicing this skill will genuinely help you follow English better, especially when native speakers talk quickly or with strong emotion. Through learning idioms, practicing active listening, joining conversation groups, and focusing on stress and intonation, you are training yourself to genuinely understand everyday English. Over time, listening starts feeling far easier, and speaking becomes noticeably more natural. Every small step forward, every new word learned, every conversation joined, brings you closer to understanding native English clearly and confidently. While we are on this topic, if you find value in lessons like this, please subscribe. It genuinely helps more learners discover this channel. Stress and intonation genuinely matter a lot in English learning. We covered this earlier with the example, "I did not say you stole my book." Depending on which word carries the emphasis, the meaning shifts significantly. To sharpen this skill, listen closely to how native speakers emphasize certain words. Notice the way their voice rises and falls throughout a sentence. Try repeating identical sentences yourself, copying the rhythm, tone, and emphasis you hear. This kind of practice will help you understand English far more clearly, and it will also make your own speaking sound noticeably more natural. Tip number 18. Use transcripts and revisit the audio. Plenty of videos, podcasts, and online lessons come with transcripts attached. A transcript is simply the written version of everything the speaker says. Using transcripts genuinely helps strengthen listening skills. Here's a step-by-step method worth trying. First, listen to the audio without glancing at the transcript at all. Just try absorbing as much as possible on your own. Next, read through the transcript to identify what you missed, comparing it against what you actually heard. Then listen again while simultaneously reading along. This way, your ears and eyes work together. You will start recognizing word sounds far more clearly. Finally, listen one more time without the transcript in front of you. This reinforces your listening ability and helps your brain retain the sounds of English words. Practicing transcripts this way gradually reduces your reliance on reading and strengthens genuine listening skills. Over time, you will notice you understand more of what you hear, even during real conversations. Tip number 19. Learn to recognize filler words. Native speakers frequently use small filler words while talking, things like, or like. These words carry no real meaning. People use them to pause, think, or fill gaps while speaking. At first, fillers can feel confusing and make sentences harder to follow. But this is completely normal in everyday spoken English. The trick is not to fixate on these fillers. Instead, direct your attention toward the meaningful words in the sentence. Nouns, verbs, and action words carry the real substance of meaning. The more you practice listening, the easier it becomes to tune out fillers and lock on to the core message, which makes following conversations noticeably simpler. Tip number 20. Watch TED Talks and similar educational videos. TED Talks are genuinely excellent resources for English learners. They feature speakers from countless countries discussing fascinating topics. Most presenters speak clearly and at a moderate pace, which makes them accessible for learners. You can use English subtitles or transcripts to follow along initially. Start with subtitles turned on if you need them, then gradually attempt watching without them. This trains your ears to process natural English independently. TED Talks also introduce fresh vocabulary, expressions, and ways of communicating ideas. They offer a genuinely fun and effective route toward improving your listening while learning about real-world topics. By concentrating on stress, using transcripts, spotting filler words, and watching educational content like TED Talks, you are building a genuinely strong listening foundation. Step by step, your brain learns to process real English faster. With regular, consistent practice, listening becomes easier and your confidence steadily grows. Small daily efforts really do add up to major improvements over time. Another fantastic way to strengthen your English listening is watching TED Talks on a regular basis. These talks prove incredibly useful because they sharpen your pronunciation, introduce new vocabulary, and expose you to bigger, more complex ideas expressed in English. They also demonstrate how native speakers organize their thoughts and communicate clearly. Watching them is not just educational, it is genuinely enjoyable too. You get to build vocabulary, sharpen listening skills, and explore interesting topics all at once. Try making it a habit to watch one TED Talk daily or a handful throughout the week. Over time, your listening abilities will strengthen, and your brain will start recognizing patterns naturally within real English speech. Tip number 21. Prioritize practical, everyday vocabulary. When listening to native speakers, understanding grows much easier once you know common, everyday words. You genuinely do not need only advanced or complicated vocabulary. Native speakers rely heavily on simple, everyday words in daily conversation. Start by learning vocabulary tied to food, travel, work, shopping, and hobbies. Words like buy, eat, take a bus, or go shopping prove incredibly useful. Practice weaving these words into sentences of your own. Once you hear them within real conversations, recognition becomes instant. Building practical vocabulary makes everyday conversations noticeably smoother and more natural, while also boosting your confidence since you can understand and respond quickly. Tip number 22. Expose yourself to varied types of audio content. To sharpen your listening, it genuinely helps to experience different speaking styles and paces. Try exploring news broadcasts, podcasts, radio shows, interviews, or YouTube videos. Each format carries its own distinct flavor. News broadcasts, for example, typically use formal English, while podcasts and YouTube content often lean toward casual, everyday language. By exposing yourself to many varieties of English, your brain learns to handle different styles, speeds, and vocabulary sets. This proves genuinely valuable in real-life scenarios, whether talking with friends, traveling abroad, or even working in an English-speaking environment. Variety truly matters when training your ears. Tip number 23. Maintain a listening journal. A listening journal is simply a notebook or digital document where you record new words, phrases, and expressions you encounter. Note down where you heard each one, what it means, and the context it appeared in. If something proved particularly tricky to understand, highlight it and revisit it later. Practice crafting your own sentences using these newly learned words. Writing things down and reviewing them regularly helps your brain retain vocabulary far more effectively. A listening journal also lets you track your progress over time. It is a wonderfully simple yet genuinely powerful tool for building both listening and vocabulary skills together. Tip number 24, take advantage of apps and technology. Learning English today is more accessible than ever thanks to apps and online resources. You can practice listening virtually anywhere, anytime, whether at home, riding the bus, or on a quick break. Countless apps offer lessons, exercises, and audio content suited for learners at every level. Popular options include Duolingo, Babbel, and Memories. These platforms let you listen to authentic English, build vocabulary, practice speaking, and review material regularly. Using technology this way makes learning interactive and genuinely enjoyable. It also lets you repeat exercises as many times as needed, which helps your ears become fully accustomed to English sounds. By focusing on practical vocabulary, exploring different audio formats, maintaining a listening journal, and leveraging apps and technology, you create countless opportunities for genuine growth. These strategies help you understand native speakers more clearly, sharpen your pronunciation, and build lasting confidence. Step by step, through daily practice, your English listening abilities will steadily improve. You will begin understanding conversations faster, recognizing words, idioms, and expressions with greater ease, and feeling genuinely comfortable using English in real-life situations. Every small effort compounds into significant improvement over time. If these strategies are helping you, please do not forget to subscribe. It genuinely makes a difference for this channel and helps us keep this content coming. Modern technology makes learning English considerably easier and more enjoyable these days. Countless apps and online tools exist to help you practice listening, expand vocabulary, and even converse with native speakers directly. For instance, flashcard apps like Anki help you memorize words and phrases you encounter along the way, letting you review them anytime at your own pace. Listening platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube are wonderful for absorbing English stories, news segments, and shows. You can listen at whatever pace suits you, replay tricky sections, or slow the audio down when needed for clarity. There are also conversation-focused apps like HelloTalk and Tandem, which connect you directly with native speakers for genuine practice. Talking with real people helps English feel natural, sharpens your listening abilities, and builds lasting confidence. Many of these apps let you track your progress too, which makes the whole learning process more rewarding and motivating. Using technology regularly, even in short daily bursts, helps you build steady, consistent improvement over time. Now, a few closing thoughts from me. Thank you so much for spending this time with me here on the channel today. I truly hope you found this lesson valuable and picked up some genuinely useful tips for strengthening your listening skills. Remember, understanding native speakers takes real time, and that is completely normal. Be patient with yourself and treat yourself kindly throughout this process. Keep practicing consistently, even just a little bit each day. Every small step brings you closer to genuine fluency. Celebrate the small victories too, understanding a new word or catching a full sentence while watching a show. These moments matter. Let us run through a quick recap together. In today's lesson, we explored why native speakers can feel so hard to understand, and we covered plenty of practical strategies to make listening easier overall. Some of these included shadowing, breaking sentences into smaller chunks, focusing on keywords, leaning on subtitles and transcripts, and practicing consistently with apps. We also touched on exploring different accents, using context clues, joining conversation groups, learning idioms, and paying attention to stress and intonation. The single most important factor throughout all of this is consistent, regular practice. Even just 10 minutes daily can create noticeable change over time. So, what can you actually do right now? Try listening to a short video and shadow the speaker directly. Focus on echoing their words, rhythm, and pronunciation as closely as you can. Watch a scene from a TV show and pay close attention to connected speech. Notice how native speakers shorten words or blend them together naturally. Start a listening journal to jot down new words, phrases, or idioms you come across. Use an app to practice and revisit vocabulary you have already picked up. Every time you complete these exercises, your listening abilities improve just a little bit more. Learning English is genuinely a journey, and we get to experience it together. Feel free to share your progress with friends, practice alongside them, and learn from one another along the way. I would genuinely love to hear from you too. Which tip resonated with you the most? What approach works best in your own experience? Do you have a favorite tip of your own to share? Drop a comment, send a message, or post about it on social media and tag me directly. Sharing your journey motivates other learners while also helping you notice your own progress more clearly. And finally, please make sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss the next lesson coming your way. Every single lesson here is crafted to help you speak, listen, and understand English in a more natural, comfortable way. Next time, we will dive into a brand new topic designed to help you speak with even greater fluency. Remember, learning English was never about achieving perfection. It is about becoming just a little bit better with each passing day. Step by step, word by word, you are genuinely improving. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and enjoy every part of this journey. Small, consistent efforts really do lead to remarkable results over time. Your listening skills, your confidence, and your overall understanding of native English will keep growing steadily as long as you stay consistent. You are learning English one step at a time, and that alone deserves genuine pride. Every time you practice listening, speaking, or picking up new words, you are quietly getting better. Progress might feel slow sometimes, and full understanding will not always come right away, but that reaction is completely normal. Fluency simply does not happen overnight. It is a genuine journey, and every small effort you invest pushes you forward. Keep practicing consistently, even if it is just a little each day, whether that means listening to short videos, repeating sentences aloud, shadowing speakers, journaling new expressions, or using learning apps. Every one of these activities is quietly training your brain to absorb the sounds, words, and rhythm of English. The more consistently you practice, the easier understanding native speakers becomes, and the more naturally you will start speaking yourself. And remember, making mistakes is perfectly fine. Mistakes are simply part of the learning process. Every single mistake becomes a lesson, and each one brings you one step closer to genuine fluency. Believe in your own ability here. You truly can improve, and you are already moving in the right direction. Confidence builds steadily through practice. Every time you listen, speak, or read in English, your overall skill strengthens a little more. Celebrate your small wins along the way, whether that is understanding a new word, catching a complete sentence in a show, or speaking clearly during a real conversation. Every success, no matter how small it seems, reflects genuine progress and keeps you motivated to continue. Fluency was never really about perfection. It is about steady progress. It is about developing the ability to genuinely understand and communicate in real-life situations. Even without knowing every single word, your listening and speaking abilities will keep improving step by step. Your brain is quietly learning to recognize words, connected speech, idioms, and natural expressions over time, and this steadily helps you understand English faster while speaking with growing confidence. You are putting in real effort here, and it genuinely shows. Every minute spent practicing, every conversation you join, and every video you watch is steadily building your skills further. Keep learning, keep listening, and keep speaking. Trust this process fully and enjoy every part of the journey. You are absolutely capable of understanding native speakers, mastering new vocabulary, and communicating fluently in English. Remember, practice, patience, and persistence remain your true keys to success here. Set small, achievable daily goals. Apply the tips shared throughout this lesson, and stay genuinely motivated. Lean on apps, watch videos, join conversation groups, and keep that listening journal going. Track your progress over time and reward yourself for every milestone reached along the way. Learning English is a genuine journey, and you are moving forward with every single day that passes. You have absolutely got this. Believe fully in your ability to improve and keep working steadily toward fluency. You are already on the right path, and with consistent, dedicated practice, you will speak English more fluently and confidently than ever before. Keep going, keep practicing, and most importantly, never give up. I am genuinely proud of you, and I truly know you can do this.